So once you've installed version 30, your next steps are to upgrade your payroll data. Now, this is something that happens automatically the first time you access your payroll in the updated version. So you'll see the message, please wait while payroll updates and optimizes your data, and it may take a few minutes. You would repeat that for any other companies on your payroll. So the first time you access it, it will upgrade the data to version 30. And then once you're logged in, we'd recommend that you check that your version number has updated to version 30. And I'll show you where to find that in the demo. The other thing you need to do once you've installed version 30 and you've upgraded your data is to install a legislation update in relation to the budget changes that were announced on the 6th of March. So there will be a reduction in the employee national insurance rate from 10% to 8%, taking effect from the 6th of April. And in order to update that legislation, you would need to log into your payroll, click Tools, and then check for legislation updates. You'll then be asked if you want to check for legislation updates, so you would click Yes to continue, and it will find the NI bans and rates legislation update, which you can then apply by clicking Yes. So really simple process to update the legislation settings ready for the new tax year. Of course, it will continue to use current legislation for any remaining periods in the current tax year, and you can read the step-by-step by following the link on the slide. So I just want to show you some of these steps. So just returning to the demo. First, I'll show you how to check your version number. So once you're logged into your payroll, you can click Help and then About. And then under Program Details, you're just checking that your version number starts with 30.00. So that confirms that you've installed the update. But another big clue that you've installed the update is this brand new home page, which we've added into version 30. So I'll talk more about that in just a few moments. And then to update the national insurance legislation for the new tax year, you would click onto the Tools menu, and then you would click Check for Legislation Updates. So this is the prompt that you see. You would click Yes to continue. And then the NI bans and rates legislation will be found, and it will ask if you want to apply those changes. So all you need to do is to click Yes. Now that will apply the change to the payroll that you're logged into, but it will also apply that change to any other payrolls in your list that use the same username and password. And you'll get a log file at the end. So this is a log of which companies were updated. So company 1 and company 2 were both successfully updated because I used the same username and password for both of them. But my third company hasn't had the legislation updated because that uses a different password. So I will need to log into that company at some point and do the same legislation update. So you can run that check for legislation updates as many times as needed for your various different companies. You do need to be signed in as a user that has access to all employees, so the manager username or a different user that has full access. And to check that that change has been applied, if you just close out of the log, and I'd recommend that you print this if you have got multi-company, just so you can check which of your companies were updated. But I'm just going to close out. This is the confirmation that there are no further legislation updates found. And then to check your legislation settings, just change your process date into the new tax year, so the 6th of April, 2024 or later. And then if you go to the company tasks and then legislation, you would select the NI tab, and you'll see effective from the 6th of April, we now have an employee rate, which is now 8%, when previously it was 10. So this is how you update the NI legislation. You'll need to do this at some point before starting the new tax year. So we're recommending you do it as soon as possible. And if you do have multi-company, remember, check the log, check which companies have been updated. And for any that perhaps had a different password, you'll need to log into those separately and follow the same steps. Tools, check for legislation updates, and that will update the other payrolls.